Hey folks, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to the channel, where today we are jumping into another deck list for you guys. One that I've had for actually quite a minute, but haven't really dived into yet because I've been still working on the inner tweakings of it. However, now with the latest patch in the books, the one happening, I believe, on the 12th, if I remember correctly. It might be wrong on the date. But regardless, the last big patch that we had, the one that did a lot of shaking up, has actually given some new life into the deck I wanted to showcase today. So I figured now might be the best time to be the best place and the best time to showcase it. So without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at today's deck list, the Burst Beast. So here is the deck list, folks, for what we're working with today, otherwise known as Burst Beast. And the idea is pretty simple. So, to give some background on what's going on currently inside of the CNC2 metagame, with Meek being changed into a new spell that essentially gives a unit 5 levels if the unit is level 3 or lower, it's been prompting a lot of people to look into just level manipulation of units here, making units really big to deliver hard-hitting punches. We're seeing that with Meek, we're seeing that with Smithy and Dwarven Weapons, and there's a spell in Vikings that also has the same potential here, and that is Burst of Strength. However, as you can see by Burst of Strength, it's only a level 4 increase for the duration of a round. Now, okay, I mean, it hits pretty hard for a round, but what are you going to do after that? How do you carry this over? You know, how is it more impactful like Weapons or Meek, as those two cards are permanent buffs? Well, if you are able to land a Burst of Strength on a unit and follow it up with a little card called Beast Mode, it'll transform a unit into the closest level beast. Now, because our units are, level modulated by Burst of Strength, it will usually end up on the higher end spectrum of beasts, things like Grendels, Owlbears, T-Rexes, and even potentially Fenrirs. And of course, because they're level 8, it'll continue to maintain that level going into next round. So you essentially keep the Burst of Strength buff, you just get a new unit entirely off that. And beasts are not that bad of a unit to have. They, can move 3, they can chomp, they have the overpower class ability. So there's a lot of good things to like about beasts and I guess the burst combination you get with it. And so this deck is really just focused on establishing a big leveled beast as fast as possible before your opponent can really have a chance to get their combo going. As you can see in here, things like Amirian, Scout, Centaur, to a degree Rider and Bear as well, all perfect targets to land the Burst of Strength on. Ideally, you want to land it on something like an Amirian or a Northwood Bear. These guys are level 6, so you Burst of Strength into level 10. However, the closest level beast, so that would be the level 11 T-Rex, so Beast One gets a little bit extra value there. But no big deal if you have to use this on something like a Centaur or a Scout to create a lower level beast just to establish some early pressure. A Burst of Strength plus Scout or Centaur, I believe, will yield you a Northwood Bear, and then from there you can maybe even level it again into, a T-Rex at that point if you have another Burst Beast combo. But alongside this, it's just a lot of cards that will try to cycle us as fast as possible into our combo pieces. So you'll see here a lot of things happening. Call to War to skim out some warriors, like bring off in Scout to pull. Fortify for protection and draw. Dampen for draw as well. The School of Histories, further draw. A lot of elements here that are going to just draw us cards to try and get us to our combo here. And hell, even the Beast Mode itself is a bit of a cycle here. Drawing a card as well upon use. So very useful indeed. And I think the card that I think maybe helped this actually take off is Smithy. Smithy, of course, now adding a Dwarven Weapons to your hand when played. So this guy, of course, can increase another unit's level by 2, which can help you further into better Beast Mode plays. Like we talked about earlier, if you can get the Scout, the Burst of Strength, and maybe get a Dwarven Weapons too, that's, I believe, a level 8, which will get you into a big Grendel or an Owlbear. So things like that, they're pretty good, I would say. And lately I've been seeing some good success with it. Everything's a bit of a faster paced game right now, so being able to pull off a big T-Rex by turn 3, turn 4 is very scary to some people. Actually, maybe like turn 4, turn 5. But regardless, still, Big Beast Hit Hard is the name of the deck, and that isn't what is being accomplished here very, very well. But let's go ahead and go through the card by card quickly to tell you guys some of the individual workings here. Obviously, Emirian is our big focus. Emirian itself is just very powerful going around right now, so got 3 copies of him, as well as Brynjolf, which is our decently costed warrior, I think, for this deck. And again, he can get some big damage, and pulling him with the Call of War pretty good. Burst of Strength, one of the stars of the deck here. You need that to increase the unit's level by 4 to jumpstart a beast mode. Call for some deck thinning and for some warrior searches. Fortify for protection cycle. School of History for cycle. Beast mode, again, the second star of the deck. The combo piece, the combo dream, if you will. Also another bit of cycle. Dampen, I'm running in here over something like Genesis. I know Genesis is doing the rounds right now, but again, we do want a lot of draw power in here, so Dampen is going to be a card that we utilize. Plus, Dampen can actually weaken the effects of Blessed the Meek, which are, again, running around a ton right now. So Dampen is a little tech card to decrease the effectiveness of Meek, could be very useful, so we're running 3 copies of that. Lightning Blast for similar reasons as Dampen, except we're running this one at 2 because it doesn't have any draw attached to it. Lightning Blast will be a way for us to quickly burn off something before it can utilize a big incantation like Meek. You know, say a card like Hawk is getting a Meek. I mean, that's just an example. Lightning Blast is going to be an effective way to clean that up. Scout for some early presence, and again, for the warrior cycle. Smithy for some dwarven weapons, and just because Smithy's a great card right now. Centaur for a cavalry speed, and the arrival healing can be pretty useful to keep some early units alive, things like scouts and riders maybe that are taking a bit of damage. Centaur comes in, heal those, and we can proceed forward. Rider as another cavalry. Originally, this was sort of the main goal of the deck, to use Salahar Rider as the launching pad. You move right into castle, you then perform the Burst Beast combo at the very end to leave a big unit on face. But lately, we're seeing more Bear and Emirian be more useful for this. But I think Rider is still a decent pick for the deck. Can help you also get that last bit of damage, say, from, you know, maybe you miss lethal by like a point. I don't know. Rider is going to be an effective way to clean that up. And of course, 3 copies of a Northwood Bear as our big beef of the deck. And to just be a nuisance. I mean, 4-2 that early with level 6 stats is not bad. Definitely a very frightful thing to see hit the board here. But overall, that is the list. We're keeping it fairly short, I would hope. But let's go ahead and jump into the games now and show you guys what Burst Beast is capable of. Alright folks, and match number 1, we're going to jump right in here, and overall not a bad start. We do have one of the combo pieces there, the Burst of Strength. Awkwardly, we do have a lot of 4-drops in hand, and the Rider doesn't help as well, so hopefully we're hoping that our opponent does not have anything in the early game to punish us. Lightning Blast, though, is a good pickup. This could be useful in popping an early game unit here, which we do see our opponent does have in the form of Smithy here. I figured might as well burn it before he tries anything with Smithy. I believe this was a deck that was intended to bury Smithy with tombstones and then resurrect with circles, so that way you get a lot of weapon triggers. So knowing that, we burn off the Smithy in his hand or on his field just to prevent that from happening. He's going to go for a school draw here, so we're going to respond with the same. We don't really have a whole lot to do, so, I mean, we're just going to go ahead and draw with the gold over the mana. We do want to use some of the mana in the next turn here to pop an Emirian while also having some leftover mana. But we actually go for the Bear, seeing an open field on his end. We're going to try and force something out of him. Meanwhile, he's going to go for a second Smithy. Smithy, of course, going to get 2 Dwarven Weapons boosts to try and contest our Bear. I feel that's fine. No big deal. We'll see if he can maybe draw something in the next turn here to overpower it. Maybe use the Burst of Strength in the next turn. We actually draw the Beast Mode, which is essentially our combo now realized. He's going to go ahead, Honor the Fallen, as well as throw another Smithy. So again, furthering the idea that this deck is just a lot of Smithy triggers to create big unit. However, our big unit can come much faster. As you can see, we're going to place Emirian up top there. And then go for the Burst Beast combo. Burst of Strength, followed by the Beast Mode into the T-Rex. Now, admittedly, we could have probably saved into a few other turns to get a Fenrir off of this, but I figured it's good to start pressing the advantage now. Got a big T-Rex by turn 6. Our opponent doesn't really have much going on the board, so we can use the opportunity to just kind of push in to try and secure a game here. Holding back Burst and Scout. Burst and Dwarven Weapons to see if he can maybe one-hit KO the castle. We can't, but we are going to Dwarven Weapons a T-Rex just to deliver a bigger punch. 49 there. The Northwoods Bear comes in for a 26. Our opponent has Dracula, which is cool, but not doing a whole lot on the board. As you can see, the Bear and the Smithy alone are not going to be enough to kill it. He'll generate a Tombstone, which is cool, but I don't think his strategy is going to be realized at this point. Our opponent in his round 7 will get the initiative back, but of course at this point, not a whole lot he can do. He's going to Bestial Rage, create some big Dracula power here. Yep, another Bestial Rage, another Dwarven Weapons, level 12, following up the Dark Reaper to end. However, we are going to play a Mirian and follow up the burst prematurely before we hit Castle because he has the initiative, so we want to try and protect our T-Rex over his Dracula, just by giving that extra boost from the burst here, and ensuring that we will, hopefully, kill off the castle. And as you can see there, he doesn't really have the opportunity to kill T-Rex, so he goes in for the bear to try and get some additional health back on the castle. But it doesn't matter. Both Emirian and T-Rex are alive, but T-Rex delivers 73 for the final blow to the castle. So that is essentially the dream combo there. As you saw, Emirian gets the burst of strength, turns into a beast. It's giant T-Rex turn 6, and then T-Rex just starts chomping through because your opponent hopefully doesn't have a well-established board enough. But yeah, overall, great way to start it off. Let's see what else it can do, though. All right, folks, and game number 2 underway. We do have a beast mode, which is cool. A bit of our combo realized early, but unfortunately, not much else going on in the hand here. We do have Brynjolf, which is neat, but not much else otherwise. We have another Northwoods Bear, which we're not going to be seeing until later. We have a Dampen, which could be cool, but knowing the opponent and the matchup here, we might not get to use a Dampen all too well. We're going to see our opponent go for the Armory Brewery turn 1 and 2. We're going to see the Smithy go ahead and pop out by turn 2 on our end. We'll march forward. We're not going to really worry too much, I think. Smithy is expendable as a body, to be honest here. We don't really care if he survives or dies, so we go ahead and push him forward. Also going to pop the Centaur here as well, just to get an early body in the back there. And our opponent goes for the Assault Tower on turn 3. And this kind of puts it into my head that this is going to be a rat deck we're facing. Rat decks like a lot of these early buildings to value hidden in the walls from. Of course, that is the ninja spell that generates 2 rats near each building. So the more buildings he establishes early on, the more rats he will follow up with by the game here as the game progresses. Now, I think you got for the Assault Tower to try and get more rats out of it. I'm not sure if he had the hidden walls in hand at this point. We're going to go ahead, bop around the buildings a little bit here to see if we can take them off the board before the rats get any more dangerous. Assault Tower, take a shot. We'll hit back with the Smithy and then pass it back here, moving into round 4. As we now have achieved one of the combos here, as Birth of Strength going into our hand. Love to see it. Doing a DCS or Dragon Crest Shield, the Armory, which is fine. We're going to end up going Burst of Strength, Dwarven Weapons that we picked up from the Smithy, level 8, into the Grendel. Now, I think I mentioned this before, but a quick note on that. I think it's a little bit random on which you'll get between the Owlbear and the Grendel. This is actually the first time that I hit a Grendel in-game. Normally, out of this combo, I'd be hitting Owlbears. Maybe there's something in the rounding that hits, you know, Grendel specifically over the Owlbear. Or maybe that's been changed recently because the last time I played Burst-based was pre-big patch. So, unsure if Grendel is the default 8 now, but important to note that Owlbear, I think, is still potentially an option as well. As you continue on into the matchup here, he now has to deal with a big 8-level Grendel, which would be fine. He had a lot of rats to do it, but it's going to be harder when we take out the Armory, making his rats hit just a little bit less. And of course, keeping our Grendel out of the Assault Tower range as well, we're going to see him move these rats into face to try and just outspeed us, but, you know, rats up against a Grendel, not very easy to do that. As we pull yet another Smithy in our hand here, this is going to provide yet another Dwarven Weapons to our Grendel. Make it ever so stronger as he now pulls a Brewery second hidden in the walls for more rats. We're going to land a big shot, 44. Dampen to just draw, and in case he has any sort of ninja tricks, we can minimize them. But realistically, Dampen was only played there for the draw. His rats are going to start chipping in all over the place here. We're going to see the Assault Tower shoot in 2. And ends up pushing his rats in, which I think is a bit of a strange choice here. I'm pretty sure he might have been able to actually kill Grendel if he committed all the rats to it, but maybe he was just unsure. Maybe he wasn't ready to risk all the rats here. He maybe was going to think he could outpace us, but unfortunately not. As you'll see in just a moment here, he'll play Fat Bard, get some level boosters to rats, but we're going to play the Centaur, heal up our castle, heal up everything, as you can see right there. for some nice little value here. He's going to go ahead and just do some rat stuff, which is cool. And we're just going to end the game here with the burst of strength we pulled. I believe that might have been, yeah, 14. So if we had another beast mode there, we could have pulled yet another Grendel. But honestly, not Grendel. We could have pulled a Fenrir. But honestly, Grendel was enough, as you can see, to deliver the final blow for our second game win here with Burst Beast. Overall, Beck performing really well. Love to see it do its thing. But let's go ahead and jump into one last match to see if we can get a three-peat for the video. Alright, folks, and game number 3 underway, going up against the Pirate Crusaders. As again, our hand looks a little wonky here. The Scout, the Rider, the Centaur, all somewhat useful. We have a combo piece as well in Burst of Strength, but unfortunately, no Beast Mode to be seen yet, so we do have to kind of wait it out a little bit. He's going to throw a Fencer to start off his game. We're going to respond with the Scout. I wanted him to push his Fencer in, which he does, so that we can get some value out of the Centaur from trading, which it looks like he will give us. Fencer going to go ahead, connect with the Scout, and this will, of course, let us go for the Centaur here. And we actually do pull it. The Burst Beast combo, Beast Mode, gets into our hand in this early portion of the game here, which is fantastic. As he goes for a Con Artist, which I'm not happy to see. Con Artist usually means that this is a steel-focused deck, so he's going to be staking a lot of our combo piece. Thankfully, we did pull the combo early, so that way we can ensure that we have it at least 1 point in the game. You know, it'd be sad if he just kept taking my Beast Modes or Burst of Strengths. Preferably, the Beast Mode would be the one that I want him to take over Burst, because Burst, I think, is still more impactful without the Beast, but, you know. As we go for a Priest and Scout combo here, we're going to yield our Emirian to the board. Emirian going to be able to hopefully clean up some things here, as you'll see. He takes out our Centaur. He does heal the Priest, or heals the Con Artist, but it's not enough. We will bop the Con Artist with the Emirian and pass it back. We have another Emirian, which is cool, but he will now go for, I believe, something big here. He does go for the Lionel. Yep, Lionel, which I think is an interaction here that I didn't think was going to work the way it did. I played the Salahar Rider because I originally thought this was going to be my Burst Beast target, making this level 8 into the, you know, Grendel or Owlbear to launch into castle, but it ends up going for a cheeky little Arbiter play here, which is quite annoying. Now, as long as my Emirian is selected on the field, it means that he gets double damage, but I tried to see if I can nullify that with the Beast Mode, because of course, Beast Mode has a transform clause in its text where you can purge all of the effects that are on it. So if a card is, say, like frozen, it's got any sort of buffs on it, Beast Mode can actually negate that because it does transform the unit into an entirely new creature. However, it didn't really work out the way I wanted to. As you'll see here, I landed a shot in with the Emirian just for some extra damage. But on top of the Beast Mode into T-Rex, we did lose the status here. But as you can see, Grendel is still glowing, so he did not actually lose his double damage. This is actually a way that you can create a bit of a permanent Lionel double damage dealer, which is quite good, in my opinion. But maybe we'll explore that combo another time. Or if it's even intended or not. I'm not sure if that's the idea behind what Lionel is supposed to do here. But as you can see, Lionel going to take a big swing at our T-Rex here. The Scout was not healthy enough to kill off said T-Rex, though, so we can avoid losing our T-Rex, which is great. We can continue the game forward here. As he goes for the Taurus to see if he can maybe remove our T-Rex here, we have a couple of counters. Centaur as one of them, giving our T-Rex some health. And the Reconciliation he gave to us off of the Con Artist offering will be another way that we can, of course, heal up our T-Rex, which is very cool. And not to mention the Fortify for any other shenanigans here. I didn't shotgun the Fortify here because I was afraid that he had a spell response or spell answer potentially to my T-Rex. So we're not going to use it until we have to as a response to another spell. Now you can see there, Tari's going to pop my Salahar Rider, a bit sad, but we can move in with our Centaur, pop the Scout, T-Rex can also pop the Tarius, and we can pass back our turn. And we still preserve our T-Rex Fear, so if he decides to place any body blockers in front of the castle, we can T-Rex Fear them away, and T-Rex can land a big chomp into the face. However, we do have 7 gold, so we can use one of the 2 Brignols we have in hand here. We opt to play one of those. He goes with the Salahar Soldier, floats a lot of gold, so I had the feeling that something was up. I go ahead and pop the Salahar Soldier first with the other 2 units here. I was right, he goes for an execution on the T-Rex, but that's why we saved the Fortify. Fortify in hand to heal and give us a bit of armor there to block out the full kill, meaning he does not get the treasure, and we still move in with a big T-Rex chomp. Not as big, unfortunately, because we don't have a lot of health on it, but still big enough to deal some nasty damage. And as you can see, Smithy coming down, Priest, and Rider as well. I believe the Rider he might have stole from me at that point, but we're going to opt to play our own Smithy here, generate Dwarven weapons, and we're going to float there. The Lightning Blast in hand should be enough to pop the Smithy, and of course he sees the Priest moving up, healing the Rider, which is cool, but not going to really be enough here. Lightning Blast is going to go down, pop into the Smithy, and we Dwarven weapons for good measure on the Brynjolf just for some more damage. 42 points of damage. Not as big as we would have liked it to be, but that's okay. No big deal. Damping going to come down. We're going to try and draw here. At this point, I am just kind of flexing here, trying to draw out the hand, see if I can find maybe another level booster to try and turn this into a T-Rex. I find a Smithy. That's going to be enough to get us to the T-Rex beast mode into said Rex. Dampen again, just because we want more draw, and we pass it back. We are on the initiative here, so yeah, I'm not going to really worry about what he does on his summon phase unless it was a Genevieve, but as you can see, it wasn't, and we land in another big chomp to end off the game, leaving Burst Beast at 3-0 for the video, and overall, with a performance that I think is quite impressive, taking out some things like Steel, although Steel is pretty stinky and doesn't really get going unless they have Den. Regardless, I think in an environment like this one, Burst Beast is certainly something to consider if you're looking for something new and fresh. I know I'm really enjoying the deck just because I have the ability to do some cool burst shenanigans and, of course, get into a huge 11-level unit by, like, turn 5 or turn 6, which is absolutely incredible to do. But overall, folks, let's go ahead and wrap up this video here as we, come off an impressive set of games. And with that being said, folks, that of course is going to bring this video to a close. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to let me know by leaving your thoughts on the deck down in the comment section below, as well as liking the video if you did enjoy it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already, because showing your support by subscribing is the best way you can help this channel grow and expand. As we inch ever so closer to the 1K mark, folks, we are ever so closer. And I will leave the deck list code down in the description below as well if you want to give this deck a look for yourself. That's the beauty of exporting nowadays. I can just leave you guys a code in the description, and you guys don't even have to make this from scratch. You can just copy the code, import it in, and there you go. The deck is ready for you to play right then and there. So yeah, we'll do that. But overall, folks, that is going to be it for me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.